Once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Jake Paul is at it again, pulling another desperate stunt to stay in the headlines. This time, he's challenged Conor McGregor to a fight planned for next May. Let's be honest. Jake Paul's strategy is as transparent as his boxing skills, targeting aging legends to boost his so-called legacy. After dragging Mike Tyson, old enough to be his father, into the ring, Jake now sets his sights on Conor McGregor, who hasn't secured a meaningful win in years.
Paul training with professional boxers, essentially being a professional boxer, but getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatric dudes. He's not doing it.
Jake Paul's antics have hit a predictable low yet again. Naturally, he's not about to fight someone in their prime. Why risk losing to a real challenge when cherry-picking past their peak opponents is so much easier? It's pathetic, honestly. If Jake is so desperate to prove himself, why not face someone his age with equal skill and strength? But no, that wouldn't fit his carefully curated narrative, would it? This time, Jake has set his sights on Conor McGregor. Yes, Conor McGregor, a man who hasn't won a fight since 2021. And whose legacy is as unstable as his left leg post-Poirier. Yet Jake, in his infinite wisdom and unmatched humility, announced this matchup as if he's solving world hunger. The audacity of this man to act like he's doing McGregor a favor is truly mind-boggling. To add to the absurdity, the fight is supposedly scheduled for India in 2025, because why not throw in an exotic location to amp up the circus? Jake's ego, much like his career, thrives on spectacle. And this? Just another desperate grab for headlines while we all collectively cringe.
Doesn't he just get in the ring with you?
He's on Twitter, he's on his yacht, he's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me.
And then there's ESPN's style vendor, the journalist who decided to inject some chaos into the mix with a tweet that sent social media into a frenzy. He claimed Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor is being discussed for July, August, or September 2025. Oh, and it's apparently happening in India. Because why not? Nothing spices up a ridiculous matchup like an exotic location and a date far enough away for everyone to forget how pointless it is. Sal's tweet lit up Twitter like a Christmas tree. Fans, critics, and trolls alike dived into the madness. Likes, retweets, memes, you name it. The internet delivered. What makes Sal's tweet so maddeningly brilliant is its ambiguity. It doesn't confirm a thing but keeps everyone talking. Is he an agent of chaos or a master manipulator? That's up for debate. One thing's clear though, he's helped keep Jake Paul in the headlines. And let's face it, that's Jake's real endgame. This isn't about boxing. It's about attention, and Jake, as always, knows exactly how to get it. Let's take a step back though. Jake's been on a roll lately, or at least he thinks so. Remember his so-called victory over Mike Tyson? Yes, Jake stepped into the ring with a 58-year-old man and had the audacity to celebrate like he just conquered the heavyweight division. The fight was scored unanimously in Jake's favor, an outcome about as surprising as the sunrise, given Tyson's retirement age. But did that stop Jake from hyping himself as the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard? Absolutely not. The man thrives on delusion. Jake's strategy for the Tyson fight was simple. Avoid getting knocked out by a man old enough to collect a pension, then flex for the cameras. And flex he did. Jake made sure the world saw every grueling moment of his preparation. Because Jake Paul without a training montage is like a YouTuber without clickbait. It just doesn't work. Push-ups, sparring, selfies, you name it. Jake's team documented it. The result? A performance so mediocre that even Tyson's geriatric punches couldn't make it exciting. Critics weren't just unimpressed, they were appalled. If there's one thing Jake Paul excels at, it's making mediocrity look like an Olympic sport. Now, back to this McGregor nonsense. Jake's pitch for the fight screams desperation. He knows Conor McGregor isn't exactly in his prime, but cherry-picking past their peak opponents is Jake's specialty. For McGregor, this fight is less about boxing and more about cashing a paycheck. Let's be honest, what else does he have going for him? His whiskey empire? His stale trash talk? Jake, on the other hand, sees this as yet another opportunity to feed his insatiable hunger for validation. Because for him, it's never about the fight. It's about the spectacle. And sadly, We all keep watching.
Conor McGregor just tweeted at me because of this interview.
He has to get active again. You know, who knows when that's going to happen.
These are his tweets, and here's my response. Conor, you're more active on Twitter than you are in the octagon. Stop taking Trenbolone and start taking fights. You're more actively cheating on your wife than you are in the octagon. Your priorities are mixed up. Put down the bottle and get back to fighting. You haven't won a fight in 5 fucking years, and the last time you did was against Cowboy Cerrone, who hasn't won a fight against anyone since fighting you. I'm a nobody, you say in this tweet. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm just a fucking kid from Ohio. I really am a nobody, but this is where you fought your 6th fight. There's literally 2 people in the crowd. And this is where I'm gonna be fighting my 6th fight. Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing. August 6th. I know you'll be watching, kiddo.
Financially, the potential fight makes sense, and that's the only reason it's even being considered. Jake Paul has built his entire career around turning controversy into cash. The louder the noise, the bigger the name, and Jake knows exactly how to play this game. However, let's not pretend this is about advancing his boxing career. Jake's version of boxing involves facing aging legends while avoiding real competition. Conor McGregor, once the untouchable king of the UFC, now teeters on the edge of irrelevance. Clinging to the remnants of his former glory, he used to terrify opponents with his fists and charm millions with his Irish swagger. Today, he's more likely found selling whiskey or sending out cringe-worthy Twitter rants than engaging in a meaningful fight. His most memorable moment in the octagon in recent years was snapping his leg against Dustin Poirier in 2021. A loss so catastrophic that even his legendary trash talk couldn't redeem it. Since then, McGregor has been on a streak of inactivity, with little to no sign of reclaiming his former dominance.
Look, Conor is not what he once was. And so even beating him, it still looks good on somebody's resume.
Fast forward to now, and McGregor's grand comeback isn't in the UFC, but in the form of exhibition matches. Let me break that down for you. He's hunting for low-risk, high-reward fights that won't tarnish what's left of his reputation. It's like he's playing dodgeball with his legacy, avoiding any real competition while stacking up cash. Enter Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation turned boxer, who somehow makes McGregor look like a beacon of class by comparison. Jake, being the relentless clout chaser he is, has thrown down a challenge to McGregor, and the result: radio silence. Not a tweet, not a snarky Instagram post, nothing. It's almost as if McGregor himself knows what a farce this would be. Or maybe, just maybe, he's too busy plotting his next whiskey ad. If McGregor takes the fight, it's a double-edged sword. Sure, it's another chance to rake in a fat paycheck, but at what cost? A loss to Jake Paul would be the final nail in the coffin for his fighting legacy. And let's be real, his reputation is already hanging by a thread. Reject the fight, and he avoids the circus, but also loses the opportunity to cash in on one of his few remaining chances to stay relevant. Either way, the once feared, notorious McGregor is becoming more infamous for his courtroom appearances and reality show antics than for his deadly left hook.
Make no mistake, it will be a trilogy fight down the line. It won't be straight away, but we will do it 3 times, 100%.
Let's be clear about what this fight would actually mean for combat sports. Spoiler alert, not much. It's all spectacle over skill, drama over discipline. Boxing purists will cringe, MMA fans will groan, and casual viewers will tune in for the memes, not the moves. Jake Paul couldn't care less about legitimacy. He's in it for the cash. For McGregor, it's another chance to avoid the octagon while still collecting a fat check. The fight itself would be a glorified sparring match dressed up as a once-in-a-lifetime event. Jake's career, if you can even call it that, thrives on these gimmicks. He recently declared his retirement from influencer boxing, whatever that means, and says he's focusing on professional bouts. But let's face it, Jake Paul is as much of a professional boxer as I am an astronaut. His entire act is built on chaos, controversy, and carefully orchestrated clownery. A fight with McGregor isn't about proving himself in the ring. It's about boosting his brand and bank account. Win or lose, Jake will spin the narrative to make himself look like a genius. That's what he does best.
Conor McGregor calls out Jake Paul for the next boxing fight. Here it is.
Make a new name for yourself. Look at what has happened to Michael Perry. You know, one of our big stars here, the King of Violence. He titles himself, and you know he's had such a rise in the sport. Now he's up against a little dweeb of a thing in a fight this weekend that we're all rooting for him.
Here we are, watching this circus unfold in slow motion. McGregor, once a fearsome warrior, is now a shadow of his former self. Jake Paul, a walking meme factory, thrives on the chaos he stirs, while the media fans the flames just enough to keep this madness alive. Whether the fight happens or not, the damage is done. Boxing, MMA, and everyone who values real sportsmanship lose, while Jake Paul laughs his way to the bank. Because for him, it's never been about the fight, it's about the attention. And boy, does he know how to grab it. Yet, here we are, witnessing this car crash unfold in real time. Jake Paul, the guy who's mastered the art of being insufferable, is trying to sell us on a fight nobody asked for, but everyone will probably watch out of sheer morbid curiosity. Whether or not it happens, one thing is certain. Jake will milk this for every last drop of attention. For him, it's not about the sport. It's about staying relevant in a world that's increasingly growing tired of his antics.